The Cincinnati Reds' top prospect, Sal Stewart, has been called up to the major leagues, and man, this could be absolutely scary for the rest of the MLB. So I'm excited to dive into this video and break down a bit of what Sal Stewart has done so far in the minor leagues in 2025, which he has been a dominant hitter. And I also want to get into how, him, De La Cruz, and MLB Marte, this could be an extremely scary trio going forward for the Cincinnati Reds. So I'm going to break that down in today's video. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So first off, Sal Stewart, he's a 6'1", 224-pound third baseman and second baseman. This guy can hit. He's got a lot of power. I know they've been kind of playing him at first base so far, but we'll kind of have to see. So basically, he was drafted in the 2022 MLB draft, was a 32nd pick. He's from Miami, Florida. He was born December 7, 2003. But yeah, he's only 21 years old, but that's just a little bit of information about him. Now we go to his stats. Now, this is where he's absolutely been dominant, and this is exactly why he was called up, because obviously the Reds need some more power hitting. That's kind of been something they've been lacking throughout the 2025 season so far, and that's where Sal Stewart can come in. And this is not just, bringing him up for this year. I think he's going to end up being an everyday player next year. I mean, with how dominant he's been in AAA and AA. You can see the stats up on the screen. And in AA and AAA this year, he had a .309 batting average, a .907 OPS, hit 20 home runs, 80 RBIs, and he was especially dominant in just 38 games in AAA. Had just as many homers as he did in AA, and he played 80 games in AA, only played 38 in Louisville, had 10 home runs in both AAA and AA. So yeah, it's been a crazy year for Sal Stewart for sure. I mean, I can't imagine, only 21 years old, you move up from AA to AAA, you become the Reds' top prospect. Now you're called up to help this team in a, let's just say, very dicey playoff race. They've been sort of at the point where maybe every game is sort of winnable, in the sense that they could really fall out of the playoff race real quick. It's been back and forth all season in that sense. They've been very close to the wild card in some spots, and then they haven't really been so close, right? It's been just a very up and down season for the Reds, and they've been in a really big need for power hitting. So this is where Sal Stewart can come in and contribute. And like I said, I don't think this is just going to be a move for this last month of the 2025 season. I think this is going to be a move long term, because if he can be a consistent, power hitter, he could potentially take Matt McLain's spot at second base. I'm not saying the Reds are going to give up on him like that easily. I think McLain will still be the everyday second baseman going into next year, and I think he can still return to that 2023 form. But also, too, you still have Spencer Steer, and I'm sure, you can move him around. Like, Spencer Steer is such a great utility player, right? It's not like you have to necessarily play him at first base, but he's been so good there all year, and he's such a great defender. You might as well keep him at first base. But at the same time, I understand it, right? You moved MLB Marte to right field. Obviously, Ellie's going to play shortstop. You have McLain at second base. And, you obviously got Ke'Bryan Hayes in that trade. So, and that's kind of when Sal Stewart started kind of practicing at first base when he was down in the minors. And then obviously quickly after got the call, because it's pretty much been, a month or so since the Ke'Bryan Hayes trade, right? So you kind of take all that into account, and it makes sense why he's playing first base. But I would just wonder, right, if Sal Stewart's going to be the everyday first baseman, or even second baseman, I guess, going into next year, what are kind of Steer and McLain's roles going to be? I think Steer will still be in the everyday lineup. I just think his clutch hitting, obviously, RBIs, he can be a 20 home run guy every season as well, which is obviously a guy you need, on this Reds roster. But yeah, we'll see. Still, though, man, the trio, I think that, Ellie De La Cruz, Sal Stewart, and MLB Marte could be. These are three guys who could really anchor your hitting. I mean, these are guys that can not only, obviously hit for singles, doubles, all of that, but these are guys that can hit for power. And especially, with MLB Marte, he's been absolutely clutch as of late and just throughout his career. And so he's had a nice bounce back season. And with all three of these guys hopefully starting off the year in 2026, the Reds hitting lineup could be absolutely scary, right? Obviously, the starting pitching has been elite all season, but the hitting, and especially the power hitting, has been the main thing that's lacking. But if De La Cruz, Marte, and especially Sal Stewart continue to develop their power, this is going to be a scary Reds lineup next year, and I don't think the MLB's ready for it, man. I think the Reds, they've kind of been waiting here in a way, right? They've been mostly competitive for the past 3 seasons, right? 2023 to 2025, and maybe next year is that year. I think we kind of all thought that would be this year. This year, just really hasn't worked out in their favor in a lot of ways. They could still go on a run. We'll just have to see. But 2026 could definitely be the Reds' year, and Sal Stewart can for sure be a major, major part of that. And if he is, like I said, this Reds lineup is going to be scary next year. I think a lot of, MLB teams, they're going to have to keep an eye out for the Reds, because like I said, you not only have the elite starting pitching that you've had all the 2025 season, but you add that power and the hitting of Sal Stewart to that lineup, and especially with the young duo already, like I said, De La Cruz and MLB Marte, this is a young trio that could be together for a very, very, very long time. So we'll have to see. I'm excited about that possibility, so just want to make a video about that real quick. Shout out to Sal Stewart making it to the big leagues, and we'll see how he can propel this Reds lineup, but I definitely think this is more of a long-term move too, not just to help the Reds with their playoff run, which they're just barely scraping by to stay in it, but this is going to be a long-term move for 2026. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.